Hello everyone, today I want to study the visualization data map for temporary isolation points for a major disease such as COVID-19 in Toronto. With the outbreak of COVID-19, we have to rethink our approach to urban planning. The unstoppable wave of COVID-19 reminds us just how fragile our healthcare system is today. The local lack of local medical resources has caused many people to miss the best time for treatment. The inability to effectively isolate the source of infection has also become a channel for the spread of the virus. Major disease require timely isolation and treatment, and the medical system may be affected by the overload of the patients. In order to control the spread of the outbreak, we need to create temporary isolation facilities, places where affected people are isolated so that they can receive appropriate treatment and reduce the risk of transmission to others. Before making such a map, consider several factors: population density, which is the population density of the infected people; time to seek medical attention; spread to arrival of the first speed of the of speed of the arrival of first responses, etc. The factors will help us determine which area to establish temporary isolation points. First, collect data on density of infected people. Through the data management tool of the QGIS, we conduct the primarily scanning of the data, find out the high outbreak areas, infected people without address information, and small open spaces that used cannot used are the target we want to eliminate. Second, consider the time for medical treatment and the speed of emergency arrival. These factors are determine the These factors can determine the location of the temporary isolation sites. By collecting location data for medical facilities and emergency centers and draw a layer in QGIS, we can identify which areas are far from medical facilities and emergency center. This will help us determine the best location for temporary isolation facilities to ensure affected people can get medical help as quick as possible. Use the roster calculator to take into account both high outbreak points and pri primarily tempo tempor primary temporary isolation points previously prepared. Finally, use QGIS layer functionalities to create a virtual map by drawing the locations of medical facilities and temporary isolation points on the map. We can easily identify areas with serious disease and adjacent temporary isolation points. My current progress is that I have determined the isolation points preliminary. In the future, I will continue to provide my map to find more useful data to better reflect the temporary isolation points. It is necessary to find a scientific weight to balance the high outbreak areas and the temporary isolation points that has been done before. In the future, I will continue to improve my map to find useful data reflected to my isolation points, and like the lung infections rate, and also the to find a more COVID-19 more COVID-19 relevant cases to give a support to my final project. To sum up, using QGIS to make a map of temporary isolation points for major disease such as COVID-19 in Toronto need to consider many factors. It requires data collecting, creating layers, and visualizing maps. With those factors, we can effectively control the spreading of the disease and protect the urban residents. Thank you.